Hi, this is Leanne from My Big Adventure. I bet you all thought I'd disappeared. I haven't disappeared. Part of me has disappeared. I've just been really busy living my life, and that's a good thing. So I did want to do a little bit of an update. I had my 1-year Surgiversary on May 23rd. A year ago, I had gastric bypass surgery in Tijuana, Mexico with B lightweight. I weighed 280 pounds-ish at my high weight, a little more, I'm not sure how much more. And I now hover around 200-ish. I saw 199 once, that was months ago. So this is the place where my body wants to stay, or at least the way I'm eating now and behaving, it wants to stay. I thought I'd talk to you a little bit about the good and the bad and the ugly about my last year. Just kind of touch on a couple things that have been tough and what's been good. The tough stuff is hair loss. I thought I might be one of those that didn't have too much hair loss. I was wrong, I did. And for those of us who don't have a whole lot of hair to begin with, that can be a little scary, but just like everybody else, I learned that it does stop, and I'm hopeful that it's growing back now. So another tough thing is that you can't pig out anymore, which is why we do this, because we pig out too much and we don't want to be able to pig out anymore. Most of the time that's really a good thing, a blessing, etc. I will say that now and again, if you find yourself at a buffet restaurant or faced with something just utterly delicious, it's depressing not to be able to eat more because it tastes good. That's not a big deal. Would I trade being able to pig out for going back to where I was before? Pfft, not even. Another bummer is that I still wrestle with carb cravings every single night. That's a subject for another long video, I suppose, at some point. I never was able to tackle and conquer that part of my head hunger and my behavioral issues. I'm still working on it, and I suppose I'll work on it for the rest of my life, like I've been working on it for my whole life. For me, I'm 62 years old, so when I was 280 pounds, I certainly didn't look like any spring chicken, but I didn't have a whole lot of wrinkles. And so it's been tough through this last year to watch, since we lose weight, seems like mostly from our face because of gravity. It's been really weird to watch my face age so dramatically in such a short period of time. You can't really see it on the video because it's nighttime and all that, but I just am a roadmap. And but would I trade that? Go back to where I was to have a fat face so I didn't have so many wrinkles? Pfft, not even. So those are a few of the negatives, but they're not really negatives. The positives are too numerous to list, but I'll touch on a couple of them. Probably the biggest and most important thing is that I feel so much better about myself. My self-esteem, my feelings of independence, of worth. And it's kind of a shame, really, when you think about it, that the pounds, being fat, takes that away, and becoming thinner brings it back. It's a sad comment on our culture, but there it is. I feel awesome physically. While my face looks a lot older, my body feels a lot younger. I just have tons of energy. I just am busy every minute. If anything, I've always been kind of a busy person. I like to have projects and all that, but it's kind of gotten crazy now. I've just gotten to the point where if I'm sitting down reading a book, which I really like to do, I feel like, oh, I should be doing something a little more productive than this. A little anecdote is that I've always loved gardening and growing things. More the idea of it. I've done it every year. We grow a big vegetable garden, and I plant flowers everywhere. But I've kind of dreaded it at the same time, because when you're 100 pounds overweight, it's kind of it's kind of a pain, literally, to go out and move your body the way you need to do that. This year I've been just a machine when it comes to weeding and gardening, and I can just spend all day out there digging, and my muscles right now are sore on my back and my butt even, and my legs from all the bending and digging and shoveling and raking and all that I've been doing, and I'm just loving it. I finally, for the first time in my life, I'm really getting why people love to garden. Of course, I love being able to fit into regular clothes. Who doesn't? While I didn't reach my goal, my numbers goal, I feel like I look pretty normal. I don't think that people would describe me as being a real big person anymore. I even feel at 62, wrinkles and loose skin and all, I feel attractive. Again, I didn't really expect that to be part of the equation. Figuring that time to feel attractive is long gone, but I feel like I look okay now. My blood pressure, I'll just take a tiny little half of a pill anymore, and I used to have really bad blood pressure problems. The list goes on and on. Speaking of numbers and goals and all of that, my initial goal was 175 pounds, which would have been about a 100-pound weight loss. My body stopped losing weight at about 200, and that's not a mystery. I've been eating what I want and not exercising formally much, and not at all, really. I mean, I go for occasional walks, and that's about it. I started and stopped that many times during the last year and never could get the mojo to hang with me, stick with it. So that's why my body stopped losing weight at about 200 pounds. Like I said, for ever since probably 4 months in or so, I've kind of just had what I want. Of course, way smaller portions. So when I stopped losing automatically, which was probably for, let's see, I don't know, January or February, I don't know, I'd have to go back and look, comes the question of, well, is it okay to be where I am? It's not my goal, but then what's the number? How do I feel? How's my health? How about my ability to move and all of that? Well, I'm really happy with all that. So, and then the thought of losing another 25 pounds and then having, my face like get 25% more wrinkles yet, that's not very appealing. So I've kind of been debating all this time. If I am to get down any more weight, I'm going to obviously have to make some concerted efforts at changing what I'm eating, how much I'm eating, when I'm eating, and move around more. And one of the blissful things about the last several months of my life is that I haven't worried about what I'm eating. I mean, I definitely have changed some habits. I have regular meals that don't really look anything like the meals I used to eat. But for the most part, I cook for my husband the way I always did, and I generally just have a smaller portion of what he's having. I still am snacking at night, certainly not in the quantities that I used to, but as everyone will tell you, the snacky things, the carby things, the slider foods, you can seemingly just eat way more of that than seems like you should be able to hold, especially when you compare it to dense protein like meat and stuff like that. So if I am going to move on down the scales, I'm obviously going to need to do something differently. So I'm still kind of on the fence about it. I'd sure like to tackle and overcome my nighttime carb problems. I've kind of decided that since I am pretty happy with the way I look and the way I feel at 200, I'm 5'7" and a half-ish. I used to be 5'8", but then maybe what I want to do is shoot for like 190, 10 more pounds, and see if I can't stabilize there and just make it my goal to stay under 200 rather than, I go anywhere from 200 to 20, almost 205, and then I freak when I do that. So that's kind of where I'm at with weight loss and how I think about it. the bottom line is that a year ago, or a little more than a year ago, I made a choice to do something for myself that has made all the difference in my life. And it's about to make the difference in some other people's lives. I'm the poster girl in my area for vertical sleeve gastrectomy, because no one has heard of it here until I did this. And so one friend of mine had it done a few months ago, is thrilled, and on June 23rd I'm flying down to San Diego, and we'll motor on down to Mexico with my husband's granddaughter and my good friend, and with another good friend of mine who they've both watched me lose weight and watched how it's changed my life, and they're privy to my everyday, well, one of them is anyway, privy to my daily behaviors and how I eat and how it is to live with the gastric sleeve. And so they're going to have this done too. One is about my age, and the other is young and getting married in March. And so anyway, I'm going to go down with them. We're not going through Be Lightweight. We're going through a different organization. So it'll be interesting to compare their experience and my observations to mine. But I'm really excited for them, and for them to take the first steps for this journey. And anybody who happens to be watching this is thinking about it, go with a reputable. If you're going to Mexico, make sure you do your research and go with a reputable organization, but just do it. Because if there had been this available for me when I was in my 30s or whatever, I wonder how my life might have been different. It certainly would have been. I'm just grateful that I was able to do it at this stage in my life. So to all of you that I miss so much, that I see on Facebook, and I do get to your videos from time to time when I have some time to sit down and just watch videos. I love you. You know who you are. I miss you. I miss feeling like I'm part of the tribe. But I am in my heart, and I'm always glad to hear about your progress and your successes, and I will pop back from time to time and let folks know how I'm doing. So take care, everybody. Love you all, and I'll see you again soon.